Denisha, I have a question about Angie Play and what you actually saw that made you define it as true play.
Yeah, so it was really breathtaking. I saw one is the environment, just the openness of the environment, and the materials and the space. It's so they're huge. Some of these kindergartens serve 15 children to 150, right? So they're
Hmm.
huge spaces. What I saw when I watched the children was this deep engagement in what they were doing because there was a lot of time. We did observations. We were there for about 3 hours, and the kids were playing for the majority of that, maybe 2.5 hours. And so
Wow.
I rarely see that kind of just uninterrupted time to just play. And so they seem to be in groups in specific places, but we ask the teachers, are they allowed to leave? And they say, yes, they can come to us and say, we want to go over there where maybe another class is, right? So they had the freedom to kind of move around in what they were doing, but a lot of them stayed with their group, right? And so, and there was just, that's when I started to recognize this freedom, right? Like it was just everywhere. One child was doing something that I thought wasn't safe, and he just kind of looked at me like, get out the way, I know what I'm doing. And he did it, and he did it again and again and again. So you saw children just kind of really drilling down deep into what they were doing. It wasn't just a one-time shot, and they built these elaborate structures with the materials that they had, and obstacle courses and all sorts of things. So you saw deep thinking, deep engagement in the work, and just this feeling of confidence, right? And so that's what felt so true about it, because yes, they could sit down and do clay and a teacher would be there talking to them, but they didn't have to, right? It was true in the sense that they were doing something that they really, really felt like is how they wanted to spend their time. The other thing that I really noticed, when they come inside, they finish their play, they come inside, they do play stories. So they sit around and kind of draw pictures about their play. While they're playing, some of the teachers' sole job is to record and photograph the play. Other teachers are on hand in case they need a little safety, security. So then they come in from the play stories and they demonstrated this for us. So we're all sitting in a room watching this. And it's in the front of the room, there's like 10 little chairs. And the children are sitting in the chairs, and the teachers got their pictures up, the picture she took, and the video. And they're talking about it for about 45 minutes, right?
Oh
Now,
my.
mind you, when you do an individual tour, you get an interpreter, so you would know what was happening. But we were in a very large group at a conference, so we just had to observe. So I don't know what's being said. But I go in to observe lots of classrooms, and I see kids sitting for what we call circle time. And I didn't see any of the normal behaviors you normally see in circle time, which is stop poking me, move over, you're touching me, da, 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 right? Because they're antsy. And these kids sat there and talked about their play. And you can tell their energy had decreased because they spent so much time outside that they were able
Hmm.
to sit there and be really engaged, right? And so the teacher is having a 40-minute discussion, which you and I could have solved in 5 minutes. Why did the ball fall? Because the two pieces weren't actually connected and there was causing a gap in the structure. But she let them work that out. They talked about it. I mean, they kept coming up, pointing, giving examples, talking about, and they're done. And the next day they can start all over again. And so you saw all of those challenging behaviors that we see in young children when they don't have an opportunity to engage in true play are just gone. Those kids could have sat there all day. They were warm and sweaty. They were just talking, but they were focused. They were engaged. And so I think that's what makes it, to me, the sense of really true is that it comes from the child and it's from their heart. And it's really what they want to be involved in.